Welcome to another video with Invest with the Doctor. My name is Dr. Hyder. I am an accident and emergency doctor during the day, and during the night, I am a trader and an investor. So, if you've seen what's been going on in the market lately, you would have noticed that gold, um, the stock market, and Bitcoin, all three of them have been going up. When gold, equities, and Bitcoin rally together, it's a signal that the market narrative is shifting toward liquidity, inflation, and policy pivot expectations. When both stocks and gold rise together, markets are often in a late cycle liquidity phase. Central banks are pivoting or hinting at easing, injecting liquidity. Investors are buying um, stocks but hedging um, debasement or inflation by buying gold. It's often the everything rally phase before inflation or tightening bites again. Think of it as hope is high, money is loose, but under the surface, inflation risk is simmering. So, what should you be doing? I think staying long in high quality stocks or equities is important. So you should have quality growth stocks, stocks that have strong balance sheets and pricing power. Usually, this time, energy and materials makes a lot of sense, especially if the inflation is going to be sticky. And avoid leverage or speculative stocks. They can crash when liquidity reverses. Um, so I think it's important at this time to hold strategic exposure to gold and gold ETFs, which is why I've been doing these videos talking about gold and gold ETFs and uh, gold mining companies, because this helps you with currency debasement and inflation spikes, as well as the policy mistakes that have been going on around the world. Um, in US and in UK, I think. An allocation of your portfolio to gold miners, because of their leverage adds protection when central bank lose control of inflation, which I think is happening at the moment. If real yields are falling but inflation expectations are sticky, gold tends to outperform equities or stocks over the next 6 to 12 months. Diversifying into real assets is important. So both gold and stocks are, when they're rising, it suggests monetary expansion and fiscal stimulus are in play. So commodities at this time do better, which is why copper seems to be rising a little bit. Uranium is rising, lithium is rising. So commodity stocks tend to do well at this time. You should keep dry powder ready. That's because when sentiment is euphoric, everything rallies. It's usually wise to keep some liquidity ready for inevitable volatility later on. So if you're holding 3 to 6 months cash, I think it's quite wise. This lets you buy dips when the cycle turns, and it will turn. Usually, long term, stocks versus gold, if you look at it, over many decades, stocks have generally outperformed gold in total return, especially when dividends are included. But there are extended periods when gold shines, particularly during inflationary phases, monetary stress, and equity drawdowns, which I think can happen at any time. And this is why gold has been going up. The Fed is leaning towards the US Fed is leaning towards cutting interest rates later this year. Um, and why is that happening? Because job markets worries are growing while inflation fears seem to be fading. At their last big meeting, most top officials agreed that lower rates may soon be needed to support the economy. In short, they're more concerned about rising unemployment than runaway prices right now. But I think, to be honest, the prices of goods in the market is rising. If you go to the grocery shop at any time, you will notice this. Prices are actually rising. They say that they are coming down to a certain extent, but if you try to buy anything in the shops, you will see that's not really the case. Here in UK, Bank of England has warned the markets could face a sharp correction if AI hype fades. A lot of the AI stocks have been going up, but that they may be in bubble territory at the moment. I think it says tech stocks valuations are looking stretched, especially for AI focused firms. If investor expectations cool or progress slow, a drop could ripple across the economy, um, add global risk, high debt, and political uncertainty. And it's clear why the bank is urging caution. So, what is happening? So, gold is at an all-time high. The stock market is an all-time high. Bitcoin is at an all-time high. But the people are getting poorer or feeling poorer. And I think the fact that people are getting poorer is causing all of these assets to go up because they are pushing money into these assets. Um, Let me show you something. So this is probably uh, my sort of evidence into what is going on. So let's look at the S&P 500. So this is the S&P 500, SPY is the ticker for it. That's the stock that you can trade on in the stock market, SPY. So S&P 500 is at an all-time high. Look at the stock here; it's at an all-time high currently. Look at where it was and look at where it is now. And this is the weekly chart. This is the S&P 500. Now have a look at Nasdaq. This is the US tech index. NDX is the ticker for it. Look at where it is at an all-time high. Okay, again, this is the weekly chart. So this is the long-term trend. Look at what's happening. It's going up and is peaking. At any time, this may fall. So S&P 500, I showed you. Nasdaq, you can see right now. This is UK. This is the UK index called the FTSE. Okay, UK 100. Again, this is the weekly chart. Where are we? At an all-time high. So this is what the stock market is doing here in the UK. This is the German DAX, which is the DAX index. DAX is the ticker for it. Look at where it is. Again, look at comparison. Where are we going? At an all-time high. So this is not just confined to US or UK. It's happening more in most places and quite a lot of the countries. Um, this is IBEX 35, the Spanish index. Where are we? All-time high. Let's look at a place far, far away from here. Okay. This is the Australian index, AUS 200. Where are we? At an all-time high. So all of these indices are at an all-time high. But what's going on in each of the countries? Let me show you. Now, this is today. This is the BBC News article just from today itself for you to have a bit of an idea of what's going on. You can see that the date of this article here is the 9th of October, which is today. And it says water bills to rise further for millions after appeal. So this is just an article from today. And I'm going to show you a couple more articles to see what's going on in this country. So it says, and I've highlighted here, millions of households in England will have to pay higher water bills than previously announced after the UK's Competition body agreed to let five water companies increase charges. The companies, Anglican, Northumbrian, Southern, Wessex, Southeast, had asked for permission to raise bills. Average of 36% over the next 5 years were not enough to deliver better infrastructure. So even though the bills are going to rise by 36%, these water companies are saying no, 36% over the next 5 years is not enough. The five water companies serve more than 7 million household and business customers and had asked for much larger increases to bills than the ones granted. So you see what's going on. Why is gold going up? Why is Bitcoin going up? Why are the stocks going up? Because of this. Okay. Uh, People are generally becoming poorer and everything is rising. Price of everything is rising. So it's not surprising um, that gold and silver is going up. Now, water bills set to rise further for millions of households, and you can see here they're telling you how the bills are rising. You can check on BBC News for today, this article itself, um, and you'll see what's going on. And it says further, citizens advise ramping up water bills when people up and down the country are already rationing showers and cutting down on laundry is going to stretch budgets beyond breaking point. So this is what's happening here in UK. So this is today, uh, 9th of October. Let me show you another article from BBC Today. So this is again article from 9th of October 2025. America's top banker sounds warning on US stock market fall. So again, let me just read the highlighted. You can have a look at the article yourself on the BBC website. And it says there is a higher risk of serious fall in US stock market or US stocks than is currently being reflected in the market, the head of JP Morgan has told the BBC. Jamie Dimon, who leads America's largest bank, said he has far more worries than others about a serious market correction, which he said could come in the next 6 months to 2 years. And this is why gold is going up, because it's sensing this. He felt that there were increased risks in US stock market and it was overheated. The Bank of England drew a comparison with the dot-com boom and subsequent bust of the late 1990s and warned that the value of AI tech companies appear stretched with the rising risk of sharp correction. So they are thinking that there's going to be a sharp correction. Now, interesting what they're saying next. So this is the head of JP Morgan saying this. He's saying people talk about stockpiling things like crypto. I always say we should be stockpiling bullets, guns, and bombs. The world, the world's a much more dangerous place, and I'd rather have safety than not. So he's saying no stockpile um, bullet, guns, and bombs. I don't know if that's a good idea. In fact, I think it's a horrible idea if that's what you're thinking. But people are sensing this, and this is why the price of gold is going up, because they're much more worried. So even though the stock prices are going up, they think Bank of England thinks, J.P. Morgan thinks that we are in a bubble. The stock market might crash at any minute, and that's why the gold has been going up. And I think that is one of the reasons Bitcoin is going up as well, because Bitcoin's got a fixed supply. Let's look at the third article. Again, this is 9th of October, which is today, BBC News. So this is an article. I missed a £100 council tax bill while in hospital. The debt ballooned to 6k. So £6,000 because he missed £100 council tax bill. I mean, this is no joke. This is on the BBC website itself. So what's happened? When Mike Barley almost died in a motorbike crash on a way home from work, he did not think his biggest worry during recovery would be the council tax bill he had been sent that same day. But after he missed a payment reminder letter while in hospital, his debts rocketed out of control. Okay, you can read the full article on the BBC website. Um, now, in the article says councils are increasingly referring people to bailiffs to help retrieve outstanding debt. Across the 253 councils that provided us with information, 1.4 million accounts were referred to bailiffs in the past year, 46% more than 4 years ago. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? About the average amount they have been able to retrieve per account has gone down slightly, suggesting bailiff action may not be as effective as it used to be. And why is that? Because people have got no money. So, what are the bailiff going to retrieve if you got no money in the first place? Let me show you this uh, small diagram, okay, and it says a lot. This diagram itself. Most councils have referred more accounts to bailiffs. Now it says yellow councils referred fewer accounts. So the ones that you see here in yellow referred fewer accounts. Orange councils referred up to twice as many. Purple councils referred more than twice as many. So you can see the orange and purple have outdone themselves. So I mean, this tells you the true state of this country and what's happening. So, in conclusion, what I would say is you need to be in the right stocks to make money in the market, but it's important to be in stocks. I think it's important to be in gold and gold miners, and I think it's important to be in Bitcoin. So these three things should definitely be in your portfolio for you to manage things effectively, especially with the way the countries are running. So it's not just a UK phenomena. I've just showed you these kind of things are happening everywhere. Um, and why is it happening? Because the same kind of problems are everywhere, widespread around this globe. So invest wisely, invest in proper stocks. You should have gold in your portfolio. You should have Bitcoin, especially this is the season. October, November are the months when Bitcoin traditionally goes up, especially in post halving years. So this is the time to be in Bitcoin. This is the time to be in gold, and this is the time to be in selective stocks. I hope you found this video useful. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be making more videos like this in the future. And as always, thanks for watching.